Hello everyone, I am back from vacation, so welcome back to Wednesday Words. When I was in college, I studied in a department at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst called Social Thought and Political Economy, which involved a lot of sort of social justice-y stuff, including quite a bit of Marxist economic theory. So during the time that I was in college, I had a lot of discussions about economic theory and political economy and the sort of morals or values of our economic system in the United States. And one version of this conversation that I had over and over again really stuck out to me. I would be waxing eloquent in a way only a college zealot can about the limitations of capitalism, both economically and also morally. And my fellow conversationalists, who were usually people on the liberal to progressive end of the political spectrum, would say some version of the following. Well, we tried communism and it didn't work, so capitalism is the best we can do. Now, the we who tried communism in this formulation is usually Russia and China, and someday, if you want, you can come and find me and we can have a lengthy debate about whether those actually count as communism in the sort of Marxist structure of things, but that's another story for another day. What I want to talk about today is this idea that we tried one other thing other than the current status quo and it failed, and therefore the current status quo is the best we can do. Now, I had this conversation almost entirely with Americans, and this seemed to me to be sort of counter to the American self-conception as a nation, that we would try one thing and it failed and therefore the project was doomed. I mean, our story of inventions and inventors is all about trying and trying and trying again. That's the story of the American dream. That's the story of the invention of all the technology that we rely on today. So why in this one area, the area of political economy, should we be constrained to one attempt to do something different, and then if that doesn't work, well, I guess we're stuck with the system we have forever? It just seems so odd to me. But I think it's also an example of a thing that I see a lot, which is that we have this idea that there are things we could imagine that are too hard to actually bring into practice. Or things we could imagine that would be wonderful, that everyone would agree was wonderful if we could actually enact them, but which are politically impossible because of the ideologies of the moment. And I just want us as religious people to challenge this idea that there are necessary limitations on what we can imagine in terms of a good life, a good structure for society that would enact our principles of justice and equity and compassion in human relations, and world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all, and the central importance of the interdependent web of existence, which binds us not only to other human beings, but to the earth and to other species as well. And to say that I think we need to liberate our imaginations. And in order to do that, we have to actually say the things that we are imagining, because I think that's how we change what is politically possible, is to say the big dream that comes from this recognition of our values of justice, equity, compassion, peace, liberty, and respect for the environment. So this week, I encourage you to think about your big dreams for a better world and to actually say them out loud into the world, whether that be in conversation with friends and family, in the context of our congregation, here on Facebook or YouTube or other social media, to say out loud the big dreams about what our values would look like in practice, because that is how we actually change what is politically and socially possible. Or to put it in another term, that is the magic of speech, that we can change the parameters of our reality by speaking our dreams into existence. So I encourage you to find a way to do that this week, and thank you so much for watching. On Sunday at 10:30, we will be talking about my big dream for work in the United States. So I hope you can join us. Have a great afternoon.